So, looks like there's some fog up there. It was clear earlier, but the fog just rushes in. This is a usual San Francisco summer day. Not sure, looks like the fog is at almost the height of the top, so I'm really hopeful that we find some pockets up there and we don't just get up and socked in, but here in San Francisco, there's really, you just gotta go for it, so we'll see. Just making my way up. Super windy. I hope you can hear me. A lot of fog, pretty thick, no end in sight. All this fog right here. Normally you'd see a little bit more of the mountain, so staying optimistic, but this is pretty thick fog. Nice and breezy. Well, we're at the top. Normally you'd see the city right there. You'd see a really awesome panoramic view of the city and the bay. It's pretty foggy. This happens to be a lot, but I think this is the first time I've getting fogged out on camera. But I do see clouds up above, so there is hope. What I'm gonna try and do is walk along the ridge because the fog, it's not completely even, so it might be fogged out here, but maybe down the ridge towards the east, we get some clearings and I can take my time lapse, but I don't know.
So I walked down the ridge for quite a while and it was looking pretty socked in, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I broke through the fog and witnessed this incredible fog waterfall. The 360 views from up here were just gorgeous, although it was bittersweet because the fog was covering the entire skyline. My main goal of the day when I was leaving my house was to capture a time lapse above San Bruno of San Francisco in the distance, so my initial time lapse just wasn't going to work.
All right, so decided to sit down and just kind of observe. I found some interesting stuff to focus on. There's a lot of these little ridges out there in the distance, and they're getting some really interesting patches of fog flowing through with some different telephone wires, telephone poles and telephone wires, and then some satellite towers out there. They look kind of surreal with the fog, so playing around with that a little bit. I also tried a few images with the 16 to 35 lens. I'm not really sure if those are going to come out very well. The clouds above us right now, really amazing, and I'd love to include the clouds in a composition. I'm just not entirely sure because most of the actual compositions that I'm finding are a lot more interesting as telephoto images. So I'm kind of bouncing between the two, just sort of playing around. There's a little path out there that actually leads out to the cloud, and that could be interesting. We are going to switch to a telephoto lens. All right. Ooh, it's windy up here.
love how, given the right conditions and the right framing and the right light, landscape photography can really transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. In this case, while I was photographing this scene, I wasn't imagining satellite radio towers. I was imagining these little spires, these alien-like spires, towering above this sea of clouds. And I was having so much fun playing around with this science fiction story that I had created in my head.
I've done mostly short exposures, mostly short shutter speeds. I think I'm gonna try a long exposure real quick. I'm gonna throw on a 6-dot filter, try and do a 30-second exposure and see how that looks.
So here's an image of Sutro Tower, and if you watched my last hiking vlog, you'll know I actually took an image of Sutro Tower from the complete opposite direction in that video, but I really love the way this one came out, and I think the thing that I love the most about this photograph is those pastel colors of sunset. I mean, those colors were just so incredible to witness. Now, I went with this very simple frame, and I like the way this came out, but let me show you another composition that I tried. So here's a composition of Sutro Tower that's a little bit less simple, but I like the inclusion of the city and the little town down here at the bottom of the frame. I also like that in this composition, you can see that waterfall of fog pouring down into the tree line. I'd be curious to know which composition you prefer in the comments. Do you like this composition that includes the town down below, or do you like the more minimalist and simple frame?
All right, so it's after sunset up on San Bruno, and I got a time-lapse rolling of, I got a time-lapse rolling and a lot of mosquitoes. Not excited about that part. I am going to have so many mosquito bites when I get home, but you know what? They're gonna be mosquito bites of victory, not mosquito bites of defeat. I think I found some stuff that I enjoy up here. I think I found some interesting compositions, and right now I got a time-lapse rolling of Sutro Tower with the fog. It looks really beautiful right now, and I feel like I have so many shots of Sutro Tower above the fog, but it never really gets old for me. And there's this really strong deep blue color to the fog matched by this deep red in the background, and it looks really surreal. The fog already looks really surreal with its waves and its shapes and its formations, but the colors right now are really incredible. I think I just ate a mosquito. All right, well, it's completely dark. I think it's about time to grab some dinner, head down the mountain, make my descent. Fun surprise to get out of the fog. I was a little uncertain if we were gonna be able to get out of it for a while there, but ended up working out. And it was actually a really nice treat getting that fog time lapse of Sutro Tower, catching the Bay Bridge with some of the fog, and even these weird satellite radio towers looked really cool above the fog. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm going to be releasing a bunch of new hiking photography vlogs in the future. And as always, I really appreciate you watching.